For decades, they've warned us, the aliens are coming. But what if they were already here, in cubicles, briefing rooms, and clandestine studios? The greatest trick the Psyop Entertainment Complex ever pulled wasn't convincing the world of an alien invasion. It was directing it. Holograms, fake radar, staged mass sightings. It's not about little green men. It's about big psychological operations. And the mask has always been human.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe. Don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Another tragedy, another camera crew in perfect position. With tears cued and bandages pre-applied, the actors arrive on set. Members of the GAG, the Government Actors Guild. You've seen them before. Different name, different city, same production company. While most just saw pain, the Psyop Entertainment Complex saw primetime ratings and a new wave of fear-based policy. Some people say it was real. Others say it was real to real.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe. Don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Lights, camera, zero gravity. Welcome to the biggest green screen on Earth, courtesy of your friendly neighborhood space agency. Here, actonauts perfect their zero-G pirouettes, while wire rigs and CGI carry the mission forward. Why risk the void when you can fake the footage? With billion-dollar budgets and Hollywood-level post-production, the only limit is your belief. And if you think it's real just because it's on the news, you've already passed the audition.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe. Don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Divide and Conquer 101. Red versus Blue. 1776 versus 1619. Two sides, one script. When you're too busy defending your version of history, you miss the bigger picture. Both narratives were preloaded into the simulation. While you're arguing over the founding date, the Psyop Entertainment Complex is refounding reality. It's not about truth, it's about traction. The algorithm loves a good feud. Meanwhile, the third side, the one writing the script, laughs in plausible deniability.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe. Don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
They show up on the scene before the story even breaks. Eyewitnesses, victims, grieving relatives, all delivering lines that feel rehearsed. Meet the real stars of the Psyop Entertainment Complex, members of the elite and highly elusive Government Actors Guild, or GAG for short. Their job? Manufacture emotional buy-in. When facts fall short, the GAG brings tears, trembling hands, and trembling voices, all on cue. Different event, same faces, different city, same sound bites. And if you dare to question the casting, you'll be called the crazy one. But maybe, just maybe, the crisis was scripted.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe. Don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
They say history is written by the victors, but what if it's directed by them too? Nukes, wars, spacewalks, uprisings, pandemics, tragedies, triumphs, all delivered on schedule, in high definition, with a stirring score and a carefully chosen cast. Behind the curtains of the Psyop Entertainment Complex, reality is scripted. Actors play officials. Sets pose as cities. Miniatures stand in for mayhem. Every emotional beat, every iconic shot, every explosion, all perfectly timed to shape the story they want you to believe. Because if you can control the screen, you can control the scene. So next time the news hits hard, ask yourself, was that live Or was that pre-recorded? Autohoax.com. Because all the world's a soundstage.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Another tragic accident? Or was it just another drill gone live? On the same day, a military helicopter collided with a passenger plane. Multiple emergency exercises were being conducted by the runway marked 33. Within minutes, a polarized frenzy erupted. One side blamed pilot error, the other cried conspiracy. But nobody questioned the strange synchronicity of simulations matching reality. Again, was it a tragic coincidence? A pre-written script? Or just another production by the Psyop Entertainment Complex, where drills blur into headlines and confusion is always part of the plan?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Welcome aboard Blue Origin, today's hottest ticket to somewhere. Maybe, because what do you get when you combine matching jumpsuits, a plastic rocket, and smiles dialed up to 11? A very expensive bounce house. You're not looking at astronauts, you're looking at cast members. And this launch, it might not have even left the ground. But who cares, right? The photos look amazing. This isn't about space exploration, it's about narrative inflation. Because nothing says, we're boldly going, quite like simulated joy outside a foam and vinyl capsule. The Psyop Entertainment Complex doesn't need propulsion. It runs on hype.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
On the surface, it's just a good old-fashioned class war. The underdog versus the fat cats. The bow and arrow populace chasing down the Monopoly man in a three-piece suit. But don't let the cartoon fool you. The Psyop Entertainment Complex wrote this script too. Every viral eat the rich meme, every influencer crying for justice, every theatrical congressional grilling, it's all part of the show. The trick? Make you think you've picked a side, while they keep both hands in your wallet. So ask yourself, if the revolution is televised, monetized, and algorithmically optimized, who's really winning?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Just because the script says they're gone, doesn't mean they've left the stage. In the world of the Psyop Entertainment Complex, exits are often illusions, curtains drawn for dramatic effect. But behind those curtains, the actors remain. Some reappear in new roles, rewritten and rebranded. Others fade into shadows, still pulling strings or lending a familiar face to an unfamiliar mask. A name change, a beard, maybe a seat at a round table, or a tech startup. Death is the greatest plot twist. But what if the real twist is that they're not dead at all? Because when you're working backstage for the complex, retirement might just be another disguise. Death fakers. The show must go on.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Welcome to the forest of fakery zoo, where truth seekers proudly point out each artificial tree, shouting fake with phones in hand. Without ever noticing the forest around them is a stage set too. They see through the bark, but not through the plot. This is the genius of the Psyop Entertainment Complex. Let them rage about individual frauds while still accepting the forest as real. When you're handed a selfie stick and a script, are you exposing the Matrix or just another plant in the exhibit?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
In 1963, months before the infamous motorcade in Dallas, JFK, Jackie, and members of the Secret Service shot a short horror film while vacationing on Cape Cod, complete with fake blood, screams, and dramatic death scenes. It was uncovered years later in a Vanity Fair article and promptly forgotten. Was it just presidential play acting, a cosmic joke from the universe, or maybe a warm-up, a low-budget rehearsal before one of the most infamous acts ever broadcast to a stunned and hypnotized public? When the cameras are always rolling and the sets are staged, maybe all the world really is a psyop.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
January 6th. Billed as an insurrection, but directed like a drama. Every scene had its star: the horned shaman, the conveniently fallen police officer, and the crowd that somehow waltzed through velvet ropes into the Capitol. It was chaos until you looked closer. Then it felt choreographed. Camera angles were perfect. The cast was colorful. And the outcome? More surveillance, more division, and a made-for-TV martyrdom narrative that practically wrote itself. They called it an attack on democracy, but to some, it looked like a test screening for the next season of the Psyop Chronicles. Because when you control the stage, you don't need a coup. Just good lighting, a few actors, and a captivated audience.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
A ship named Dali takes down the Francis Scott Key Bridge, the same man who penned The Star-Spangled Banner. And the media echoes, "Oh, say, can you see? But what are we looking at? And who's writing the script?" The bridge collapses, the nation watches, and a Mountain Dew flavor called Star-Spangled Splash hits the shelves. Just a coincidence? Or a poetic brand tie-in? Meanwhile, the Francis Scott Key statue vanishes from its spot near the Golden Gate Bridge, replaced by modern idols. Could this be foreshadowing, a symbolic wink, or just another psychological breadcrumb left by the Psyop Entertainment Complex? When life starts to feel like predictive programming, it might be time to stop asking what's real and start asking who's writing the story.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Don't look up. No, really, don't. You might see the same thing you saw last week. Another flaming meteor, a rogue satellite, or maybe just a Chinese balloon with bad PR. The media loves a good cosmic panic, because if you're staring at the sky, you're not noticing the ground shifting beneath your feet. And just like that, a new market is born. Space junk helmets. Sleek, stylish, government-issued, and just in time. Think Y2K, but shinier. Think masks, but galactic. Because when fear is on sale, the first thing they sell you is the gear.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Another historic announcement from the world stage. Cameras roll, heads nod, promises echo across the headlines. We're going to uncover something big. Evidence will be revealed. Next week changes everything. And yet, when Tuesday rolls around, it's a nothing burger. No meat, no substance, just a soggy bun of buzzwords, red tape, and we're still investigating. The Psyop Entertainment Complex loves this move. Dangle the carrot, distract the herd, delay the truth. Keep everyone in line, waiting for answers that never come. You paid in attention, outrage, maybe even fear. But what did you get? Just another Tuesday, and another empty plate.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
The lights, the crowd, the hype. An aging legend steps into the ring with a social media star barely old enough to rent a car. No experience, no chin, no chance. Until the miracle upset goes viral. The punches looked pulled, the count looked long. The odds flipped, the money moved, and the cameras kept rolling. It wasn't a fight, it was a script. Vegas booked it, Netflix streamed it, and the Psyop Entertainment Complex made sure you didn't blink. Welcome to the new ring of deception, where every jab is a storyline and every knockout is bought.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's a clickbait drone video. Social media influencers are flooding timelines with grainy night footage, crying wolf over every blinking light in the sky. The panic spreads, the views roll in, and critical thinking nosedives. Spoiler alert, that drone swarm was just the 8:15 to Denver on final approach. Manufactured fear sells, and there's always an audience eager to share the next digital false alarm. Welcome to the Psyop Entertainment Complex, where illusion goes viral faster than facts.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
You're not imagining things, you're being imagined. Every deja vu, every weird sky, every moment when reality feels just slightly off, that's the renderer catching up. This card shows the forest glitching because nothing exists until you observe it. Quantum physics or dev console debug mode. If a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, it doesn't matter. It wasn't rendered anyway. Next card down, Mandela malfunction. Memory is a feature, not a guarantee.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
In 1968, the BBC aired a little-known drama called The Newsbenders. The plot? A journalist is invited to a secret office where he learns the future isn't just predicted, it's scripted. Nukes, fake, the moon landing, filmed with models, satellites, just a story fed to the public by a computer upstairs. It wasn't science fiction, it was satire that hit too close to the bone. They mocked a media machine that manufactures reality, decades in advance, with each crisis delivered like a plot twist. Sound familiar? Welcome to the Psyop Entertainment Complex, where nothing is real, but the programming is mandatory.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
This just in. Tragedy has struck the nation's most critical infrastructure. No, not power grids or food supply chains, but the facility responsible for producing hyper-realistic surgical dummies. Flames engulfed the factory overnight, reducing decades of silicone, latex, and plausible deniability to ashes. Authorities on the scene report the loss of thousands of pre-positioned stand-ins, tools long rumored to play silent roles in mass casualty events, broadcast live to millions. The timing, curious. The mourning, performative. The implications, chilling. Without their go-to props, the Psyop Entertainment Complex may be forced to work with real narratives for once. But don't count on it. Stay tuned. More after the break.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
They said it was a space flight, but Megyn Kelly and crew weren't blasting off. They were buckling in for a ride on the Vomit Comet. That's right, zero-G simulation, 30 seconds at a time. But what's this? Floating orange juice, suspiciously red splatter, and... Wait, is that Nicole Simpson? No helmets, no harnesses, but somehow, the knives stayed in frame. When the Psyop Entertainment Complex scripts a scene, even the laws of gravity take a backseat. Final frontier? Or just another low-altitude illusion?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Laurel Canyon, birthplace of 60s counterculture, peace, love, and rock and roll. But behind the music, a military connection few talk about. Jim Morrison, Frank Zappa, David Crosby all had family ties to US intelligence. And nearby, Lookout Mountain Air Force Station operated as a secret film studio. Some say the scene wasn't organic, it was orchestrated. A carefully crafted psyop launched in sync with MK Ultra to steer rebellion into controlled chaos. Was it truly a movement or just another program?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Echo Dunes, 2023, a desert escape of beats, lights, and surveillance. It started like a dream. Influencers, DJs, drone shows. Then the skies broke, and the desert turned to mud. Cars stranded, phones dying, drones still flying. The Psyop Entertainment Complex doesn't just sell experiences, it observes them. Was this just weather or a live-action stress test? Because when the grid fails, you learn who's watching and who's being watched. At Echo Dunes, you weren't just the audience, you were the data.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Every neighborhood has one. The sky fills with trails, and out come the vinegar pots. Appleman charts. Online warnings. They say it's geoengineering, chemical payloads, weather control. Critics say it's just water vapor. Persistent contrails explained by atmospheric science. But if the trails are truly toxic, why isn't anyone wearing a mask? And if it's all nonsense, why does it keep happening, even when the chart says it shouldn't? Boiling vinegar in the yard. Laughable or prophetic? Who's crazy here? The ones stirring the pot, or the ones pretending the sky looks normal?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
A sea of blonde stares back at you from the newsstand. Every magazine, every headline, every soundbite. Meanwhile, the Pentagon holds a press conference to reassure the public that Tay Swiffer is not a psyop. When a global phenomenon is this meticulously managed, choreographed, and cross-promoted by the highest levels of media, finance, and government, you have to ask, is it fandom or manufactured fervor? Mass distraction is a weapon, and pop idols make the best camouflage.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Welcome aboard the new Temu space station, the only orbiting warehouse where everything floats, except the glass of water on the table. While astronauts defy gravity with ballet-like flips, objects mysteriously fall to the floor, and beverages remain calmly upright. These microgravity pockets only seem to show up when the green screen glitches or the wires sag. From spinning Earths to shopping in orbit, space has become a subscription service of illusions, delivered next day from the Psyop Entertainment Complex. If this is what the future looks like, we might need a return policy.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
If justice is truly blind, why does it always seem to have a camera crew? When a trial becomes a live stream, it's no longer about truth, it's about traction. Carefully selected clips, viral one-liners, and courtroom memes drown out the actual stakes. Witness credibility is shaped not by evidence, but by edit cuts and trending hashtags. Public trials were once about transparency. Today, they're scripted theater for the digital age, complete with product placement, fan factions, and post-trial endorsement deals. And while millions are glued to the drama, the real corruption, injustice, and institutional rot slip by unnoticed, off-screen, and unpunished. When the gavel falls, it's not justice, it's just the final act.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Two world stage veterans ride off into the sunset on matching motorcycles, both aged 88, both exiting on the same day. Coincidence? Maybe. But the symbolism speaks louder than the silence. One, a global preacher of unity, the other, an architect of the future. Their curtain call: Easter, the Feast of Ishtar, rebirth for some, retirement for others. This isn't just timing, it's timing with flair. Are they gone for good, or just between acts? Either way, the crazy 88s knew exactly when to ride.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
The rockets didn't have to fly, they only had to terrify. During World War II, the V2's real payload wasn't explosives, but belief. Imported post-war under Operation Paperclip, these same engineers became the architects of modern space propaganda. By the Cold War, the missiles became moonshots, and the narrative pivoted from fear to fantasy. Controlling populations didn't require tanks, just telescopes and television. If you control the cosmos, you control the context.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Gelatin molds. Welcome to the desert competition, where history is shaped by pudding, and precision collapse is judged like a bake-off. On the left, Gelatin A, a time-tested recipe powdered in secrecy and sprinkled with isotopic garnish. On the right, Gelatin B, a modern mold, tall, proud, and engineered for rapid, symmetrical descent. The judges aren't here to ask questions. They're here to cheer. Smiles all around, as if nothing ever melted. No heat signatures, no hard questions, just award-winning thermodynamics. In the world of gelatin molds, physics is flexible, science is sweet, and sometimes the towers are just too perfect.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Pizza Earth, the flat Earth no one actually believes in. A floating disk spinning in space, surrounded by round planets? That's not a model, that's a straw man, built to be laughed at, served hot, cheesy, and pre-sliced by the media. They don't want you asking real questions about the horizon, about water, about why NASA and Disney share the same launch pad. So they feed you this, Pizza Earth, with a side of Flat Earth society. No flat earther believes this cartoon. That's why they keep showing it to you.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Birds aren't real. The moon is hollow. Bigfoot's in witness protection. Pandas are animatronic. It's all a bit much, isn't it? That's the trick. It's called a reverse psyop. Flood the zone with absurd fakes, so the real ones get lost in the noise. You spot one hoax, they make you feel crazy for spotting the rest. Everything is fake, because the ones that matter most are hiding in plain sight.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
The Martian atmosphere is too thin to inflate a parachute, but NASA says They dropped a rover with one and stuck the landing. They say their helicopter is still flying up there, even though there's not enough air to push against. Meanwhile, here on Earth, Devon Island looks suspicious, Mars-like. Rovers, rock fields, even a mouse, if you're paying attention. Batteries that never die, helicopters in a vacuum. Welcome to the science fiction psychological operation you paid for. Welcome to Mars, filmed live in Nunavut.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
4. Lunar Exploration, brought to you by Mini Golf. They said the first trip was so delicate they couldn't carry a single extra ounce, not even one paperclip. No practice landings on Earth, too dangerous, so they just winged it, and it worked flawlessly, every time. By the later missions, they were folding lunar dune buggies in half, calling home from payphones, and teeing off on the surface of the moon like it was par 3. The only thing missing was the windmill. When you think of lunar exploration, think of your favorite mini golf course. Same level of realism, same budget for props.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
A boy in the Overlook, an Apollo 11 sweater, a room number that was changed from 217 to 237. The average distance to the moon, in thousands of miles. Was The Shining just a horror story, or Kubrick's coded confession that he helped fake the moon landing? But what if that was just the first act? Behind the boy, Twin Towers, long before they fell. Kubrick didn't just direct films, he directed reality. A meta-scripter, not gone, just behind the camera.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
You're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour while orbiting the sun at 66,000. Meanwhile, the entire solar system is hurtling sideways at 500,000 miles per hour, and the universe itself is expanding faster than light. Tilted, wobbling, spiraling through a vacuum, but somehow your hair stays flat. There's no container, no boundary, just a pressurized marble in endless nothing, held together by a theory called gravity. Ask questions and you're a joke. Believe it all and you're educated.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
The Elon sits on a throne, adored by his believers. They farm potatoes on Mars, a dusty set with red filters. Everyone claps, everyone's fooled. Because in this gospel, space is salvation, and Elon is the Messiah. In 1952, Werner von Braun wrote a sci-fi novel. The ruler of Mars was named Elon. Now SpaceX has a starship, a red planet, and a cult. But here's the twist. They never left Earth.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Louis Pasteur gave us the invisible enemy, one particle to blame for all your symptoms. It's tidy, it's profitable, and it never asks what made you vulnerable. The microscope sees what it's told to look for, and nothing else. The terrain shapes the outcome. The system resists correction, but call it settled science, and the lab coats stop asking questions. If terrain theory was wrong, why did Pasteur admit it on his deathbed?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Fiat currency, is magic, but not the fun kind. It's alchemy with a press and a promise. Paper becomes power if you believe hard enough. The spell, debt, the wand, confidence, the ritual, inflation, slow enough you don't scream, yet. Every fiat system in history collapses. Rome, Weimar, Zimbabwe. But this time, they say, it's different. This time, the spell will hold. This time, the money is real.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Did you know multiple US politicians are in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame? Coincidence or casting call? From steel chairs to stimulus bills, the format's the same. One heel, one face, both reading the same script with different catchphrases. Blading? It's when wrestlers slice their foreheads to make the blood look real. Sound familiar? They say pro wrestling isn't fake. It's scripted. The world stage, same story, bigger budget.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
If you keep stuffed animals on your bed, does that make you a zookeeper? If you take a sugar pill and feel better, are you a doctor? If you strap in for a parabolic flight, pretend to float, and never leave the atmosphere, or perhaps never even leave the soundstage. Are you an astronaut, or just another cast member in the periwinkled production? Blue origin, pyramid base, winking eye. The symbolism isn't hidden. You were just trained to call it fiction.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
It's just a drill, just a test, just a precaution. The Psyop Entertainment Complex doesn't need your belief, just your obedience. Fear is the script, compliance is the choreography, and everyone plays their part, even the kids. The louder the siren, the quieter your questions, because if you're scared, you'll sit down. If you're scared, you'll stay still. And if you're scared enough, you'll ask for the next drill yourself. If the emergency is real, why does it always start with a rehearsal?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
The candles go up, the tears roll out, the hashtag trends, and right beside it, the donation link. Before the facts, before the motive, there's already a campaign, a goal, a story written in grief. This isn't charity, it's choreography, a theater of loss, backed by crowdfunding. Because in the age of digital empathy, tragedy is just the first act.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
They say the further left or right you go, the closer you come to touching the other side. That's the horseshoe theory, and somehow it's always well-funded. Two sides screaming, same platform, same slogans, different fonts, and the money flows in from every angle, except reason. It's not about resolution, it's about revenue, because the fight is funded, and the horseshoe, it's welded at the base. Two sides, same sponsor. When did the side you hate start sounding like the one you support?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
You followed the rules, you played it safe, and when the storm hit, you built a campaign instead of a sign. Then came the message, this fundraiser has been removed for for violating our terms of service. No trial, no appeal, no refund. The psyop isn't that you were censored, it's that you believed the platform was ever neutral. Read the terms. The service was never yours. This campaign violated nothing, and that was the problem.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
The fossil record skips 1 billion years. Carbon dating contradicts itself weekly. Every dinosaur skeleton you've ever seen is either a cast or a guess. But the story persists. Fish grew legs, apes built rockets, and randomness designed reality with more precision than Rolex or Boeing. They say we came from stardust, but the only thing exploding into everything was the funding. It's not science, it's storytelling with tenure.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Somewhere between the moon landing and Bigfoot is a camera, and behind that camera is a director. Photographic evidence isn't about proving anything. It's about showing you what to believe before you even ask a question. Capsules, cryptids, conspiracies framed just right. When every psyop has a visual, the image becomes the message, and memory, just another thing they can develop in the darkroom. What image got burned into your mind first?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
You're allowed to doubt the system. You're allowed to rage at the machine. And you're even allowed to use words like false flag or deep state. Just so long as you stay inside the limited hangout corral. This card doesn't ban you, it platforms you, as long as your truth still serves the narrative. Sure, you can come in, just don't go there. And if you do, they'll send a louder voice to bring you back.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
He's loud, he's passionate, and he's absolutely sure he's figured it out. The alien leaks, the movie clues, the galactic scoop live stream. He's not lying, he's just being used. This card reminds you, some psyops run on malice, others run on enthusiasm. They gave him a mic, a camera, and a wall of red string. But the script, that came from GAG, the Government Actors Guild.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
They come with documents, they come with dirt, they come with just enough truth to sell you the rest. This card reminds you, if the whistle is being broadcast, it was cleared by the orchestra. In the Government Entertainment Complex, nothing gets platformed unless it serves the script, especially the leaks. So before you trust the next insider, ask yourself, did they walk off the set, or are they still on the payroll?
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe, don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
This isn't where the story ends. It's where the narrative begins. Langley isn't a location. It's a live set, home of the GAG, the Government Actors Guild. Writers, handlers, continuity editors. When something unbelievable happens on your screen, just remember, someone here storyboarded it first. The Government Entertainment Complex doesn't need your permission. It has your viewership. And in this broadcast, everyone plays a part.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe. Don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
The chatter increases. The drills multiply. The media primes the timeline. This card doesn't warn you. It informs you. The narrative has already been deployed. The timer's not a theory. It's a mechanism. When the countdown hits 0, everything that comes next will already have a name. You're not supposed to notice the drills. You're not supposed to ask why they always know who did it before anyone else does. The countdown isn't starting, it's almost over.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe. Don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
You remember it. We all do. Ed McMahon showed up at your door with a check. You grew up reading the Berenstein Bears. Your mum made Stauffer's stovetop for Thanksgiving. And of course, Jiffy peanut butter. Except none of that ever happened. This card shows a memory basket, full of things that don't exist, but somehow feel more real than the ones that do. Call it misremembering, or call it what it really is, a patch pushed to the collective mind.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe. Don't click anything. They're watching, and if you know, you know.
Card number 55. Government equals mind control. Not a theory, a translation. Govern means to control. Ment means the mind. This card shows what most folks already suspect, that beneath the politics, the pledges, and the press briefings, someone's always reaching for your brainstem. It's not about left or right. It's about who gets the joystick.
More cards are coming, but don't like, don't subscribe. Don't click anything. They're watching, and if you